What up? What's happening? Welcome to your midweek check-in with the DNVR Nuggets crew. I am in the pregame lounge live from our computers. Adam Mares, he's out tonight. Harrison Wynn, he's in Ball Arena. So are the Nuggets. They're hosting the Utah Jazz. Big games today. I should mention we're presented by Lightshade, Colorado's premier dispensary. Head on in there. Use code DNVR. You should get 25% off your order. Not one time, not two times, but every time you go in. So head on in, let them know we sent you. To my left, it's Superstar Dev. What's cracking, brother?
Well, first off, they don't know this, but we never can hear the music. So we tune into the music and we're faking and stuff like that. That time I actually heard the music. And that was a little bit different.
And below Superstar Dev is Superstar D-Line. What's cracking, brother?
I'm below both of you, bro. I'm holding down this entire third or bottom spot all to myself. Guys, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like I'm ready to go. It's all about the pregame tonight. Are the Nuggets nationally televised? Is that why it's an 8 o'clock start?
That's right. It's on the worldwide leader tonight, my friend ESPN. So we can all watch from home, high quality, high def. We'll probably be able to see the score updated in real time. It should be nice.
Wow.
That should be nice. We got some game notes to tear through, fellas. First of all, Monte Morris, Popeye Jones tells us he's active tonight, but he's going to come off the bench. Facundo Campazzo is still starting. 24 to 26 minutes, Popeye said, is the range for Monte. Dev, how big of a deal is this for Denver, especially with a big game in Utah? Monte Morris coming back tonight.
I think it's just big just to have your starting point guard back, the guy that gets you guys under control. He's also the only pick and roll option that the Nuggets seem to have. So I know that that's a boost for Nikola Jokic as itself. But also I think that just this part of the season, you need some, small wins. You need some things to just boost the morale. So having a guy like Monte Morris back into it, I just feel like it gives you a new sense of energy that they desperately need. Plus he's really good at basketball.
Eric, does this raise your vibes at all hearing that the mayor of Shopper Circle is back?
I mean, I like every little bit counts, right? Like every little, I mean, we've been, as we've mentioned, we've been wandering through a vibeless desert looking for the slightest inkling, the slightest taste of vibes. And any little thing that we can throw back into our extinguished fire to maybe bring it back to life a little bit. I'm into it. Monte Morris is a great player. Yeah, it's
something.
Just give us a little something. Every little piece of good news that I hear about the Nuggets, I'm like, oh God, that's right. Remember that? Every other piece of news we hear about the Nuggets has been terrible. So
I got two more pieces of good news for you, Eric.
Let's go.
The first one is more of the absence of bad news. Aaron Gordon, we know that he's had that lingering hamstring issue. He should play about 32 to 34 minutes tonight. Hopefully that's plenty. So Aaron Gordon, good to go. And then let's go to the Utah game notes. Everyone ready for that Jokic-Gobert matchup. But Gobert is out with a non-COVID-related illness. Joe Ingles is out with a COVID-related illness, or at least he's in health and safety protocols. Hassan Whiteside is out as well for Utah, so no centers. And then Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Jordan Clarkson, and Royce O'Neal, who were questionable or probable, they are active and they will play. Dev, how big of a deal? I mean, obviously it's a big deal. No Jingles, no Gobert. This is now an opportunity for Denver, no?
Not only is it an opportunity for Denver, it is an opportunity for the world to know how easy basketball is for Nikola Jokic. He now gets to go against a Utah Jazz team who doesn't have their defensive anchor, their best defensive player, their second best player on the team. And he's going against no centers at all. So this is going to be a dominant Jokic game, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited for everybody else to see it. Just not having them, that changes a lot of things for Utah. I'm sure that they're going to, Snyder's a really good coach. So I think that they're going to have a lot of defensive adjustments that they're going to make throughout the game and give Jokic different looks. But not having guys like that is going to be an offensive affair for Utah. So they're going to have to score.
Yeah, no Jingles is awesome too. Eric, any part of you, well, I shouldn't say awesome if he's in health and safety protocols. We hope he's okay. But for Denver's chances of winning, it's awesome. You guys know what I mean. Eric, any part of you disappointed that there's no Gobert?
Yes, the part of me
Yeah.
that just bet $50 on Jokic's threes. That's the part of me that's like super. That's such a bummer, man. Like now he's going to shoot 0 threes tonight. Do not bet that. Although if you're going to make a bet, we'll get to that later. Bet rebounds all day, every day. Bet every dollar that you have on rebounds tonight. My God.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. One more note of housekeeping here, fellas. Vlatko Cancar, who was carried off the floor in that loss on Monday. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard by now it's a fractured right foot. So he is still determining his next options with regards to surgery and what that timeline looks like, but he is out indefinitely. No Vlatko tonight. Deb, I thought Vlatko was playing well and obviously plenty of opportunity this season to crack into the rotation. And I thought he'd been taking advantage of it lately. This is certainly a bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer, especially just for Vlatko. Like, he's not to say he's the team mascot, but he's the guy, like, he's the vibe guy. He's the guy that keeps everyone upbeat and positive. As far as on the court, I think it's more so sad because we just don't know how much we'll see him in the future if that was the last game in a Nuggets uniform. So that's where my sadness comes from. He really wasn't, being able to play much. He didn't get the opportunity to play. I feel like there wasn't a lot of strides made throughout his time in Denver. So it makes it like really hard to say like he was playing good or not good. But I mean, he had his opportunity. He was finally able to play, and them not having Coach Malone, it seems like the end of the bench guys is who's on the court right now. So he would have been able to just continue to prove himself. So it's just sad to just not see him out there.
Yeah.
Eric, how bummed are you by this news? And I mean, look, Vlatko, he may come back. We don't know. It's an indefinite timeline, but there is only so much time left on his contract and his time in Denver. In theory, obviously, I'm sure you're bummed out like everyone else.
Yeah, man. And like broken foot is about as bad as it gets for a basketball player. Like that, those things take a long time to heal. And like that Bol was stricken by that. Zion Williamson was stricken by that. That's like not what you want to hear. Vlatko is like definitely that guy that everybody likes because he's just like a generally good, seemingly good person. And he adds a lot to the Nuggets as Dev says, from a vibe standpoint. But like, you really see this with just about every player in the NBA. Like when you get an opportunity, sometimes it's hard to like really maximize it if you're not getting into the game that often. Like oftentimes it seems like end of the bench guys and like guys that don't really get run, like when they get thrown in, it takes them 2-3 games to like really ramp up to start to feel comfortable again and actually play the way that they know that they're capable of playing. Vlatko's a guy that we always sort of had circled as somebody that we knew is just a reliable player, a guy that makes the right heady play all the time and is just like a steadying force on the court. He got a couple opportunities like weeks ago that he really wasn't able to take advantage of, but it seemed like he was starting to get back to that place of comfort. So that, like, for me, this is a major bummer, especially at his position where we have guys like J Mike who are super duper frustrating on certain nights. And it just, and Zeke Naji, who's again, like super inconsistent, but also shows flashes. Like Vlatko just seemed like a guy that seemed like a really easy plug and play, even to be relied upon when he was like coming in and starting to really feel good. So it's a major bummer. And it's just like another strike against this goddamn vibeless season of ours.
I know. And there are a lot of sliding door moments for these, I'll call them bubble guys in terms of on the bubbles of making rosters, right? Where Marcus Howard is another guy who gets COVID heading into Summer League. Then he gets his opportunity this year. He goes down with that gnarly knee sprain, which, by the way, still being called just a sprain. That never got updated or upgraded to anything worse. So we'll see when he comes back, but hopefully some good news there. But always tough for those guys to see them miss out on those opportunities. We're hoping for the best for Vlatko. One more game note, then we can get this thing moving along. Popeye Jones walked back the Bones comment today. Sort of. Ready? Let's follow me. This is one long quote.
Okay.
I made a comment after the Dallas game, and I need to say something. I said I thought Bones knew more of the playbook, and I think that was a bad comment. Bones has been tremendous. I told him this morning, I said, it was more my fault than your fault. I should have gave you 3 plays and said, here's 3 plays for you to run when we're in the half court. And Bones is like, no, coach. You know how Bones is. But that was my fault. I said that about him. He shouldn't know the playbook. He plays the 2, He knows what he's doing at the 2. He messed up several plays at the 1, but it's expected. Okay, so pulls it back out from under the bus, shoves him back down under in there. Dev, I don't really know how to frame this question other than, I guess, what is your reaction to Popeye's clarification, sort of?
This is like when you're at work and someone says, like, with all due respect or no disrespect, and then they disrespect you after. Like, that's just the no disrespect, and then you know what's happening after that. I think it's hilarious that, like, he thought about it and he was like, you know what, I really need to apologize about that and just really clarify what I meant by giving another haymaker. I'm gonna punch him again. So that's a little funny. And then I think he even went on to say something about, Bones not being a point guard. So he's like, you don't know the 3, you're not a point guard, you only know the shooting guard, and that's what you are. So I think that it was hilarious. But also, I think that I love the fact that Popeye Jones is a straight shooter. Everything about him is honest. Yeah. He's upfront. He's just a person that's going to tell it exactly how it is. And I mean, he doesn't mean disrespect, but he's just going to say it. But I just love the fact that he's just going to say whatever he says on his mind, especially in, being a part of media and hearing all the cliches and just like having to say things a certain way. I don't think that he's trying to get to Bones. I don't think that he's, doing anything. I think he's just saying what's on his mind.
Right. The only thing is, I kind of like Bones as a 1, maybe not in terms of the pure sense, especially with this current roster, but I thought, hey, no need to put that kid in a box, but I understand he's probably just trying to walk back and not getting himself in any trouble.
One other thing I'll say about that, like him being at the 1, he doesn't get the opportunity to be at the 1 on that team because in the second unit, there's still Facu. So he's like always going to be, he's in a situation he has to play the 2. So it makes sense for him to know most things that's off the ball. Moving forward, you want him to play 1. He's just like the size of a 1, but he hasn't been that, and it doesn't look like he's going to be that if you keep Facu around.
Yeah, right. I mean, although he looked like the 1 in Summer League, he looked like the 1 several times early on in the season. Like,
well, he was just the 1. It's
he's definitely
one and only.
Yeah,
he definitely is a 1. Like, there's no reason why he shouldn't play the 1. It is hilarious. Like, we do want coaches to be transparent, say whatever they want, like tell us what's actually going, but then like Popeye does that and basically just sets the team on fire, has to make apologies, walk it back. Like, maybe like we don't want that. Maybe we should actually, maybe the cliches is like a better way to go. Like, so you don't actually just like deeply upset your team and your players.
Yeah, possibly. There's a reason they hold their cards close to them. You know what we do? We just complain and make fun of people no matter what they do, right or wrong. That's our whole role in this ecosystem.
Yep.
All right. How about a little roster envy, sort of? Lance Stephenson, fellas, scored 20 points in the first quarter of his debut with the Indiana Pacers tonight, or his debut in Indiana. I believe he signed a 10-day contract on January 1st, which is the date that the Nuggets signed Carlik Jones to their 10-day contract. Lance was coming off a 10-day contract prior with the Atlanta Hawks. Anyway, I believe, Dev, I don't know if you've checked lately, he was the leading scorer in that game last time I checked.
Well, first off, good for him. Really, I think that it's amazing.
That's right.
I think it's amazing for guys to just get called up or just to get their opportunity and to actually capitalize. Like anybody, I really have been a big advocate for that. But also, I've been an advocate for letting those veterans back in the league.
Oh, God,
I've been saying it for so long. These teams need vets. And Lance Stephenson, he came out the same year that I did from high school. So I think it's just like, I got to root for him. And then he just goes out there and he balls. He's a bucket.
Dude,
he's dancing out there and everything.
He's back to himself. You can't hold him down.
This like only spells doom for that team, by the way. This is like the worst. This is like absolutely enabling a guy that you don't necessarily want. Like, he's going to be so filled with confidence and like looking to repeat this performance every time he steps on the floor. It's going to be a disaster. I cannot wait. Although at the exact same time, like, things like this happen and you're like, what, like, why can't we, no one can ever score for the Denver Nuggets.
I know.
Like we have all these guys that like we signed to our gold squad, which again, we've gone over this. Like, I was under the impression we got a G League squad. It would be a way to improve the Denver Nuggets. As it turns out, it's a way to improve every other team in the league, except for the Denver Nuggets. It's a way to give second chances to vets that can go on and to help all of the teams that are around us get better. while we sit on our hands and sign players who I've never heard before. I still don't know their names. It is very frustrating. What?
Two layers of pushback. First of all, it's a weird year in terms of teams poaching other guys from the
all the same
outside free agent pool.
We're still part of this weird year. We're also in this weird year.
Here's the second part. Davon Reed is that guy. They found him. They signed him to his G League squad. They used that for him to integrate, become familiar with the playbook. He was around in training camp. And then they brought him aboard. So I know what you mean in terms of saying IT, Lance, especially as Lance goes on tonight.
Keep going. That's not the end.
People were very happy with the Davon Reed signing.
Sure.
I want to point that out. And that is the guy they chose. Dev,
just recently, Eric, you said that you wanted those new guys to get opportunities. You were not against vets. And also a lot of people do that. When the G League team signs like Isaiah Thomas, they signed a Lance Stephenson. The first thing everybody did was run to the internet like, please don't bring him to the Nuggets. Don't bring him back. Hell no. And then they go and play well. And then they're like, why did they keep him? I don't think we would be happy regardless of what happened. It's just one of those things when someone else doing good, you're like, you know what? Not that bad. I was in a relationship like that before.
Oh, were you? All I know is that if there's a button to be pushed regarding the Denver Nuggets, we will push the wrong button every time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to do with any of the decisions that are being made. It's just the pox that's been placed upon us. We can obviously trace it back to the Smuggets. I don't care. I'll take it. But all the same, we are all suffering and will continue to suffer until Jamal Murray comes back and he brings us out of purgatory. Until then, all we have to do is look at the Heat getting better, the Mavericks getting better, the Pacers getting better.
Hey, did Davon Reed make the Nuggets better?
Marginally. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I know.
Did he score 20 points? Has he scored 20 points total in the time that he's been with the Nuggets?
No, he hasn't. Look, Lance on his good nights, and this is a great night, is going to look like exactly what that second unit could need. So I get it. I mean, for me, it's more of like you think of the subsequent 10-day signings, because this is a hardship deal Lance is on. So you think of like, Carly Jones and all that, and it's okay. Well, wouldn't you rather have Lance Stephenson? Here's the other layer, though. Pacers are losing this game. That's probably not Lance's fault. I will say this: the other thing is they're going to try just to free up one full-time roster spot anyway, right? That they're going to convert, and it seems to have Davon Reed's name all over it. So I would wonder, or wager, or imagine that as they sort of built that relationship with Reed, that probably closed certain doors with Lance. All the same, I get your point, man. I get your point. It's hard not to watch him right now. Like, I would love that off the bench tonight against Utah.
But the thing about it is that I know for a fact that if we would have signed Lance Stephenson, he would have gone 0 for 20.
Oh, that's the part.
There's just nothing works for us right now. We shouldn't expect good things. It's my own fault for looking into my neighbor's backyard and coveting whatever. Listen, I get it. We're in bad times.
By the way, in the first half, I don't have an update since then. Kenneth Faried, Grand Rapids goalie, started tonight, 10 points, 10 rebounds. I know they ultimately won that game. I would have to check his
future Knicks legend. Let's go.
Future.
You want him back?
I do. Let's bring him back, dude. I want Faried. Listen, I'm looking for the one shred of vibes. You know what would bring like a whole bushel of vibes? If Manimal yammed an alley-oop from the Joker, dude. Like I mean, like I'd be good for like a month and a half. You know what I mean? Like that's all I need.
Hey, I'm sure he could check in for 10 minutes, set 3 offensive foul moving
all screens. I need, dude.
And...
all I need. I need something.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Big opportunity tonight, fellas. Utah down some men as well. Dev, let's fire up that DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook. Make us some money, dude. Eric needs something.
I need something, dude.
So just taking a look at it, because there's funny things that we like talked about earlier in the pregame show that you're gonna get around to, and you're gonna say, why would I say something like that? Why would I say something like that? The Nuggets go into tonight's game as a 1-point underdog. So like if you looked at this earlier, you kind of had an idea that Gobert was not going to play. They had him at a -2.5, and Utah's been playing extremely well. So, like, I'm like, how are they that close? I thought they was going to come in as like a 6-point favorite or something like that. So 2.5 is now at 1. So basically a pick 'em right there, which is pretty wild. Also, 225.5 is the over under. They don't think there's going to be much defense played. That Utah team doesn't have, their the defenders. They're going to have to try to outscore you. They're going to try to have to push the pace. So this will be a fun game as far as like scoring. And I think that the Nuggets are going to try to push the pace. They're going to try to score on them. They're also going to just feed Joker inside every single time. We talked about how Jokic's points, rebounds, and assists has been extremely high. He definitely sets a new record today. 51.5 is the points, rebounds, and assists. Why do you think it's that
points
high?
alone?
Why do you think it's that high?
Because there are no centers.
Because there's no
rebounds. Rebounds. We talked about how high it would have to be. Eric, how high would it have to be for you not to bet the over?
Well, it's currently at 15.5, and I just bet it while we were talking. So, this man's been averaging 18 rebounds per game for like the last month. The only time that he's not getting around 18 rebounds is when the team's being blown out and he has to sit for most of the fourth. Like, he's rebounding at such a rate now that it's honestly comical. Like, I mean, what is the line for you? How high would it have to be for you not to take it? He's definitely getting 20 rebounds minimum.
Well, now I'm a little scared at 15.5. So it actually makes me think, like, oh man, do I want him to do that? Also, I know that it's an ESPN game. He wants to show everyone we're gonna take the over. We're gonna take the over 15.5. Like, we might do it. This is extremely high.
So hold on. How does this game go tonight? Because this is the only thing that makes you nervous about a big number like this is like if the game is out of hand and Jokic is not playing in his last stint. Like, those are the times when he doesn't hit these big numbers. Like, is there a chance that the Jazz are going to blow the Nuggets out or vice versa?
Well, if you look at it, it's a 1-point game. So
do you think that's accurate?
Super, super like close. But also, it's going to be a lot of shots up. So he's going to have more opportunity than he typically has. If you think about it, he gets 20 rebounds and it's a Munder type of game. The Nuggets are the ones getting Mundered, and he has 20 rebounds. So in a game that's going to be fast-paced and he has 225.5, I like his rebounds. I do. And it's super high. Like, I feel like we should all get on it just because it's so high and he's still going to get it. We could all have a vibe laugh after the game.
Yeah, dude. All right. You know what? You just convinced me. I'm in for 5 vibe units.
5 vibe units. I like that.
There's also, by the way, you did not mention, there is a special tonight for tonight's game. If you bet.
Well, what is the special?
If you opt in and make a $50 bet or a bet up to $50 or something. I don't know. Check the fine details, but you then will get a free bet equal to the top scorer's output this night. $1 per point for the top scorer. So if
Jokic is going for 40.
So like if you bet $50 on this game one way or another, and then Jokic goes for 40, you get a free $40 bet. So opt in if you're going to bet.
And then there's also Donovan Mitchell on the other side that can go off at any point. We know he could score 50 against the Nuggets.
Man, and I was feeling like so confident. I bet Jokic threes with such like reckless abandon earlier, and now this man's not going to shoot a goddamn 3 all night long. I hate myself.
What is it at?
1.5. It's always at 1.5. But like against the Jazz, that's like always ironically his threes are a slam dunk. But now he's not going to shoot them.
Bummer. What I'll put as my lock of the game, I'm going to go the points, rebounds, and assists of Aaron Gordon, 21.5. 21.5. I just feel like that's just too easy. I also think that if they put Royce O'Neal on him, he's going to destroy him in the post. Like, I think that Jokic is going to find him for some easy dunks. Also, Popeye Jones told us he's going to play a lot of minutes tonight. He's going to be on the court a lot because he's going to have to be the Donovan Mitchell matchup. He also has to be the second option. If you have Austin Rivers and Facu in the starting unit tonight, you got to give the ball to somebody to score. I think it's going to be Jokic and Aaron Gordon. So I have 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists as my lock of the game.
Yo, you think this is a triple-double night? This might be a triple-double night.
The assists, I don't know about the assists, but
the only thing, like I looked it up, like Jokic typically averages against the Jazz over the last year, the last 3 games over the last season, he averages 35 points, 11 rebounds, and 9 assists. And tonight he has no Gobert to go against. The assists, you're right, have always been the question this season, but man.
I'm encouraged too because I know he's going to be coming off the bench, but having Monte back has to make you feel that much better about the Jokic numbers because, again, the biggest issue has been getting him the ball. Their best prospect of doing that is getting Monte back on the floor alongside him, so I think that should help. By the way, we're on this what's like the rebound like Mendoza line? That's not the right. I don't know what Mendoza line means. I'm just guessing. What's the line where it's too high where we won't keep going?
The high water mark?
They bumped it up to 3.5. Just saying.
On the rebounds?
Saying. Yeah, because he's been such an ace. I don't know if there's a bunch of long rebounds tonight.
Are you going to bet Facu rebounds just like how strong is your brand? Let's find out.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it right now. I don't care.
All right. Should we do a same game parlay? You want to do a same game parlay? What do we have? 3 minutes? All right. Okay.
Yeah, let's build a little SGP. Adam, help us. Oh, Adam wants to shout Gordon points, rebounds, assists as well.
Gordon's point. Okay. So then for let's see. That's not
22.5.
Whoo. So what do we feel very confident about? We feel very confident about Jokic scoring tonight. At least I do. That is the place where I feel most confidence in this evening. So let's go Jokic points over under. Let's go over 26.5. Then obviously the rebounds, which honestly should be criminal at this point to be able to bet on Jokic rebounds. It's like I've never seen anything like this, by the way. It like changes the way you watch basketball when you bet on rebounds. Like when you watch the ball come off the hoop, you're like, God damn it, grab it. It's a very different way. Yeah, normally you're like hoping the ball will go through the hoop, but now you're just like constantly hoping it will bounce off in such a way that the space octopus's tentacles can grab onto it. Let's see. So what do we got here? Jokic rebounds over under 13.5. We're gonna take the over on that. Maybe we'll push it up to 14.5. Those two alone will give us a parlay of plus 130. What about Monte assists? What do we think?
Get Aaron Gordon some points in there.
Aaron Gordon points. All right.
Get
Aaron Gordon points over 11.5. Aaron Gordon points.
Let's do it.
That gets us to plus 245. And then let's go assists. Monte Morris is normally good for at least 1 3-pointer a game. I never like guys coming back to count on their shooting the first night they come back. So let's look at his assists. Over 3.5 assists for Monte Morris. That gets us to plus 750. Those 4 things. Dude, that's massive.
Oh.
Unlikely, but hey, man, feeling lucky. Go.
What do you mean unlikely? Over 20. Which part of this is unlikely? Over 26.5 points for Jokic.
Odds.
Over 14.5 rebounds for Jokic. Over 11.5 points for Aaron Gordon, and over 3.5 Monte Morris assists. Which of those is unlikely?
The only thing I'm afraid of. Which? Monte Morris.
Really?
All right, there you have it. You've got your locks. You've got your parlays. You know what to expect. Nuggets Jazz coming up on ESPN. DNVR Nugs and health and safety protocols. But we will be back for a post-game show live from our computers after the games. We will see you in the hopefully Winners Lounge.
That's right. And I look bad because I have bad lighting. I got plenty of sleep.